What's up, YouTube? If you're new around here, you may not know about my obsession with history and old abandoned cabins. Well, I have been documenting some of that history on my channel. You can scroll back and go to my playlist and you can see that I have a few videos of going out and looking at old abandoned cabins. I live in a cabin myself and I have for 20 plus years, and it doesn't have any running water, outhouse, no indoor toilet. And I have always had a fascination with cabins, kind of obsessed with them actually. I will drop everything if I see a cabin on the side of the highway and make whoever I'm with stop and go explore cabins with me, even if they hate it. Luckily, I have friends who are willing to indulge. Recently, I did a paddling trip, a kayaking trip on the Yukon River. If you don't know about the Yukon River or anything about the Yukon or Canada or whatever, I'll tell you a little bit about it. The video is part adventure that my friend and I went on paddling our kayaks down the Yukon River. A bigger part of it is the exploring that we did along the way. So along the Yukon River, there's tons of history, tons of Sternwheelers on the bottom of the lake and the river. There's shipwrecks everywhere. There's dredges from the gold rush era, old trappers' cabins, old abandoned cabins, old wood yards. It's just littered with history. So this was basically a trip to really indulge in that exploration side of ourselves and stop at everything we saw along the way and really kind of taken the river as a piece of history, and kind of like we really thought a lot about the people who had traveled down that river before us. You know, now we're doing it in an age and day when, you know, we've got like these fancy kayaks and $300 paddles and, you know, dehydrated food, but we have it easy. We have it so easy. Sure, you're camping along, you're outdoors, you know, for a week or two at a time, however long you're out for an adventure, but you have so much to rely on now that, you know, they didn't back then. And I really admire those people and their toughness and their badassness and just the, you know, the adventurous spirit that I feel I have a little bit in me. They had, you know, 100-fold, because they dropped everything they had. You know, often we're Southerners down from, you know, Southern Canada in the States who came up to the Klondike Gold Rush. And in just a mere chance, you know, a small, tiny chance that they might get a part of that gold. And, you know, 99% of them didn't. Some of them died along the way. They had grueling treks from, you know, the coast from Skagway. They had to hike up the Chilkoot Trail, which is 50 kilometers of terrain that is not fun to do in the winter. I'm sure it'd be a nightmare. I did it in the summer and that was fine, but it snowed on the summit and it was a freak snowstorm and windstorm, and this was in the middle of June, you know, in the height of the summer when it's easy. And yeah, we could go into cabins and warm up and change out of our quick dry clothing and it would be dry. You know, we didn't have wool pants that we were wearing that didn't dry, and gear that you had to carry up. You know, we had a backpack. They had to make 50 trips up the stairs, the golden stairs they call them, and carry 2 tons of gear that were checked by Northwest Mounted Police at the top to make sure that they had all this gear so they'd survive the harsh north And this was just the beginning of their journey to get to Dawson. And then they, had to build boats or buy boats or, pay people to take them down to the river. And then they started their adventure on the Yukon River. So they would be in these rickety boats or rafts or, or it'd be winter and they'd be going across sketchy ice and falling in and drowning and all just to get to those gold fields. So anyways, if you haven't gotten from this already, that I really admire those people and, thought of their travels. Like when they hit the Yukon River, they were just part way through their journey. They had a lot more to overcome. The trip from Whitehurst to Dawson is 700 kilometers down the Yukon River. So before we went out, I knew I wanted to document as much as I could along the way. And my friend who came with me, Cindy, she was keen on exploring as much as we could as well. So it's really great to have somebody with you who is as passionate as about history as you are. Otherwise, it'd be really boring for them. The journey. So if you don't know, I got to get back to the Yukon River. So the Yukon River, it's the 5th longest river in North America. It's over 3,000 kilometers long, and its headwaters are in northwestern British Columbia. Lake Labarge is a famous lake because of the Robert Service poem, The Cremation of Sam McGee. A lot of people have read about that or heard about it. It's a big, long lake. It's 50 kilometers long, and it is known for winds that just come out of nowhere. And storms that, can be blue sky 1 second, and then before you know it, it's a raging torrential downpour and a storm with winds that, you don't know what hit you, basically. Last year, we have a race here called the Yukon River Quest, and it's a race from Whitehurst to Dawson. And you try and get there as fast as you can, obviously, because it's a race. And people kayak, they canoe, stand-up paddlers are really kicking ass in that race lately, too. I did it last year in a tandem canoe, and we hit the lake, and it was glass, beautiful, sunny. We were in T-shirts and shorts. And we thought, oh man, like this was the one thing that I was worried about on the race. Not even the sleep deprivation, because you literally get like 5 hours of sleep in 3 days. The rest you're paddling nonstop and you're so sore you can't even think straight and so tired that you're almost falling asleep and falling into the water. But none of that scared me as much as the lake did, because I've heard horror stories about the lake. We got onto the lake and thought, this is perfect. It's glass. It's beautiful. This is going to be a cakewalk. Well, literally like 10 minutes into it, I saw clouds on the horizon, like way down at the end of the lake. It's a 50-kilometer long lake, don't forget. And way at the end, there were clouds. And I thought, wow, those are a long ways away. They looked a little dark. And those clouds flew over us so fast that we didn't even have time to get rain gear on. Like all of a sudden, the rain came and the wind came. And all of a sudden we were crashing into waves that were coming over the bow. I was in the front and they were just smashing over the bow. The lake broke a few people that race. There was some people who, there was people crying and traumatized by the storm. And I don't know, I guess it can affect different people different ways, but we knew that that this was a possibility. And we were happy to see the storm pass, because it could actually get windy out there for days. And that brings me into our trip, because that's kind of what happened. It's the first day of our trip. It is beautiful out. Look at this. Sunny skies. It is like 9:30 in the morning, and it's about, I don't know, 15 degrees out, it feels like. But couldn't have picked a better day this summer to start our trip. So we're just hoping that it's going to keep going. It's going to keep being nice all day. Anyways, dogs are all settled in to their pens. I have house sitters coming by to take care of them and watch the place. So they will get them out and exercised. And yeah, it's hard to leave them though. It's totally distressing. But you can see they're not too stressed. We'll see them in a bit. So it's really hard to pack a kayak. There is not much space in these little guys. So I got a bit more space here. I've got pretty much everything in here. Got some fresh veggies here for the first few days. Yeah, basically we've got this hatch and that hatch. The one at the back is bigger. This one, of course, you have to bring some games. Clothes are in here. So I've got everything, sleeping gear, pretty much everything in here except drone is in there. bear spray's gotta go somewhere. This can go. This is all the stuff that's gonna be on top of the boat. Yeah, now I just have some frozen food that I need to put in there, and the way the beer and stuff, wine is going in there, it's gonna go like this, just however I can fit it in there. Whatever room I have left, I will take up with some canned beverages. Anyways, I think I might make it all fit. All right, there's all my gear, not including the dog bowl. But I think it'll fit in the kayak. I still have some meat to add in there, some food, but hopefully this all fits. If it doesn't, then we'll have to leave some behind. Started out around 3 o'clock that Friday afternoon, and because it's so crazy, you know, when you're planning a trip and getting going, there's so much planning and organization that I didn't even think of getting my camera out and recording any of this. So here's a few still images of us at the start.
Have a great trip!
Well, we just got stuck in a pretty nice little sandbar. The high water is deceiving. It looked like it was clear, but it was not. That's okay. Just spent about 15 minutes slogging through and pushing myself with my hand on the bottom of the water on the sand. And yeah, but we're about to enter the lake. Check it out. One cool piece of history behind me is those pilings to give direction and tell the steamboats where to stay away from. You can see them going all the way down there as well, up the main channel here. So that's called Policeman's Point because there was a RCMP station back there way back in the day. Very cool. Policeman's Point is named so because the Northwest Mounted Police Post was built there in the 1890s. And those pilings are called the Labarge pilings. The entry into the lake has always been difficult for any kind of a large vessel. Lots of debris out here. Here we are, just about to get to Lake Labarge. It's 11 kilometers and it took us 48 minutes. So I'm gonna put the camera away and paddle. There it is. The old lake. Look at how far that goes down. Way down there. Yeah, we have a tailwind still. Sweet. So we paddled for about 2 hours. The lake is a little windy and bouncy, and it was late afternoon, so we decided to just paddle for a couple hours, and then Cindy found this awesome spot which has a trail going up to all these cabins and buildings that are historic. So we're just setting up camp here, having some dinner, having a fire, going over maps, and drying out some stuff. Yeah, we gotta look at our fishing regulations to see what we can fish because we're gonna be catching so much. Maybe. We got a little tent set up. And that's it. Here it is. And let's take a look at the lake. Lake Labarge. It is one long lake. You can see all the way down there where we have to go, and that is not even the end. So our plan is to see how this is early in the morning. We're hoping it's going to be calmer. I know I've heard that it can be calmer in the morning, as many lakes are, so we are going to bank on that and get an early start and zip down there as long as we can until it gets a little too windy and rough, and hopefully it doesn't. But we have a good evening. Nice evening. Look at the clouds over that way. They seem to be coming this way, so it might get rained on. We're kind of prepared for it. Looks pretty good down there, actually. Looked like a storm might be coming when we first got on the lake way down there, but it never materialized, so that's probably because the wind's going that way anyways. So there you go. Live and learn. We learned lots today. We learned about the some water filters that we borrowed from someone. We learned how to use that because we hadn't used them before. My GoPro wouldn't work at the start because of the SD card. So now we've got everything figured out. And I'm sure it'll go smooth. You didn't?
No.
Oh man.
They'll dry on the outside and then I must have poured
Yeah. So it's about what is it, about 7 o'clock at night, and got quite a few hours of daylight left. And guess what we found 2 hours into our trip? Cabin. Actually, a whole little historic site, heritage site. Cabin number 1. Also important to note is that Lake Labarge lies within the traditional territory of the Tan Quachan people, or head of the lake people. The southern Tushone name for the lake is Tan Man, and I may be pronouncing that incorrectly, but hey, I tried. So this little structure, I wasn't exactly sure what it was when we saw it, but upon further inspection on my return, I found a blog by a local historian who had talked about it, and it's Dave Neufeld, and he said that it was a remains of one of the 1950s Indian Affairs matchbox houses. These kits were shipped throughout the north to provide basic, which is an understatement of astonishing dimensions, housing. The difference in technology. Drone to shoes with nails in them. I'm trying to convince Cindy to go down there. Come on, so I can film it.
No, I can't do it.
Oh, do you? Let's see, just a little. Just put the camera in there. Yeah, this roof is sketchy. You don't want to go in there.
Oh, no,
So just like a root cellar or something.
God, look at it though. Get back out. I know.
She probably does. I'm just so curious.
It does look like it's about to go down.
Yeah.
There's another one over here. Oh, I like this one.
Do ya?
This is my favorite so far.
We have a soft spot for the ones falling down.
It isn't like this thing here.
It is, I think. What's in here? Ooh!
Don't fall through a hole.
Cindy just said there might be bats in here, so... Oh, there was wasps up there.
Oh.
Yeah, the floor does feel a little bit
Feels
wobbly.
pretty unsafe.
Look at this. Look at that big stove. Big stove. Teeny little door. Huh. Could be a cozy place. Long time ago.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Look at the clothes hanging up there.
So these would have been made with some kind of just a, I don't know if it's a chainsaw, like a chainsaw mill. No windows either. Well, they were boarded up, but looks like, you know, there's the old stovepipe there that it had at one time, but
Huh.
looks like it was just like storage of metal.
Oh, she's a beauty. It's a cute one. dinner Cindy's made. This is our first dinner.
It's going in.
Shrimp stir fry that is a little bit overflowing on the pot.
Okay, and this will be delivered onto the fire.
That looks very good.
Now we just have to let this cook a bit.
Find some wood.
I found a lot of wood. That's a lot of cottonwood.
Good morning. It's day 2, and we have a calm lake. It is 5:30 in the morning, and we have gotten up. About an hour ago, we realized it was calm, so we hopped out of bed and just maniacally started packing. And we're all done. Cindy's over there getting all ready. Camp's all down. And we're gonna paddle like crazy to get down the lake as fast as we can while we can take advantage of this beautiful weather. It's cool out. Didn't sleep very well because I don't know why. I had trouble falling asleep.
I slept great.
Cindy slept great.
I snored and
Maybe
myself awake.
maybe we'll get better rest tonight, or I will. But I'm excited to get down the lake. Well, we lasted an hour on Lake Labarge. How you doing, Cindy?
I'm good.
We lasted from about 6 to... No, when did we leave?
Well, we got out on the water
6:30?
and I thought, when Stacey was saying that, it was good, and I thought, almost just like yesterday. Now it's getting worse.
We were there 10 minutes and then the waves started up and the
Now
wind
there's
started.
whitecaps, so-
And now we got whitecaps here, so we are stuck on a beach on Lake Labarge. waiting for
good camp spot.
waiting for a possible boat rescue. So what a lot of people do are they shuttle down the lake to the end of the lake so they don't have to paddle in the lake because it can be unpredictable like this. Look at those whitecaps out there.
It's like being on the ocean.
And they're coming, yeah, they're kind of coming on the side and behind you. So it makes for a fun little
At least it's not a headwind.
voyage. Well, here we are stranded on Lake Labarge again. We opted to park it for a while, play some games, and drink a beer because why not? It's about noon. It's time for a beer. You can see we've got toques and clothes on because it is chilly out. There's our camp back there. There's Cindy. Are you cracking a beer yet?
But
She's
we're
still
charging
drinking
our-
coffee.
We're charging our stuff with solar.
We are, look at that.
Awesome.
Solar panel, got some games going.
Cindy can't find her binoculars, but I think I just found
We're just
them.
waiting on hearing if we can get a shuttle. All right. She lost her
Where does my
binoculars.
moon go?
We're waiting to hear if we can get a shuttle down the lake to the place where it's not a lake and it is calmer, and a river that gives you some current, because right now we are not moving very fast in that stuff, and forecast is for winds to be like this and worse tonight. So the next window of less wind that we have is Monday morning, and right now it's Saturday morning, so we could possibly wait for 2 days. We may have no other choice if the shuttle can't come get us today, so not a lot of options. So we'll see, but we're making the best of it. We got 2 weeks and we got some beer still, so until that runs out, then we're good.
Oh,
Is that better?
is so much better.
Look at that. We got our little camp set up.
We kind of made ourselves at home. We got
We're going to live here forever. Cindy's going up to retrieve her rock that she threw. Oh, this should be interesting. We may have to hang some food tonight, so she's just practicing. And her rock got caught up in the tree. You saw a bear. Bear just popped up on that little rise over there. Check things out. We are waiting to hear on whether we're getting a ride. I know. And if we don't, we are going to head out paddling because it's calmed down a little bit. Quite a lot, actually. How to cool off your beer when you're stranded. What did you guys do? We sat and collected rocks for beer. Got a ride coming across the lake to pick us up and take us. Coming across the lake to pick us up and take us with a couple other people, I think, that are in a canoe. So that's awesome. It is going to be here probably by 4 and get us down the end of the lake by 5 or something, or 6. I don't know how long it takes. But yeah, it's not looking too bad out. Now it's nice out. It was freezing earlier. Had toques on, and now it's like shorts weather again. This lake, I tell ya, it's a beast. It's a beauty, but it's a beast. Yeah, Cindy lost her beer. She wedged it between a rock or two and thought it might stay, but it did not. You can see the rock right down there. Well, it stayed there for a bit, and then we got distracted and left it there quite a while. But her cold beer has now become a part of Lake Labarge. It might not be too far, just wade in there.
I'm looking at the sun and thinking it's going to get so that I get warmed
There. She really wants that beer. This lake is not working with us. Oh man. It's taking our beer, it's taking our dignity, it's taking everything. But it sure is beautiful. I mean, we're not complaining about being here for a couple days. Here's our rescue boat. Good job, Cindy. Rescue boat. Look at our adventurous trip on a boat. Bye. Here's our new campsite. Beautiful little spot, hey? The wreck of the AJ Goddard. Clara and Albert Goddard were in the perfect position to get a jump on the Klondike Gold Rush. They were the wealthy and successful owners of a foundry and steel fabrication business in Seattle. The ships were prefabbed in their shipyards and shipped to Skagway, which is the start of the Chilkoot Trail. The ships would be assembled on the shores of Lake Bennett, which is at the end of the Chilkoot Trail, after being hauled over the trail itself. The AJ Goddard was registered as a Canadian vessel, and Clara was identified as the captain. The boat was ready to work when the ice moved off Bennett Lake on May 28, 1898. The Goddard was the third steam-powered vessel to make it to Dawson. Clara was in the pilot house when they docked in Dawson, and before they left Dawson, she was honored for being the first female paddle wheeler captain on the Upper Yukon. Yeah, Clara! Go girl power! Goddards returned to Seattle soon after and sold the ship. And then on October 22nd, while pulling a barge across the marge of Lake Labarge, the crew encountered what was called the worst storm of the season. The Goddard went down in the north end of the lake with 4 crew and 1 passenger. 2 survived and 3 drowned. Those that drowned washed up on shore the following summer. And oddly enough, one of them was washed up 119 years, almost to the day of our visit there. Despite extensive research, information on where the vessel rested was not known for a long time. Over the years, any knowledge of the wreck's location was eventually lost as people died and moved away. Many tourists and adventure seekers passed Goddard Point by the thousands, not knowing what lay beneath. Parks Canada started looking for the wreck in 1978, but never found it. In 2008, Doug Davidge, a local Yukoner, found the intact hull just off Goddard Point. He'd been looking for the ship for years. He returned with other divers to do a detailed survey of the ship, and within a few minutes of diving, they saw a complete paddle wheel still in place. The vessel sat perfectly upright with debris and objects of all sorts littering the deck. A sonar unit created a digital model of the boat. More than 100 artifacts were found. Recovered items such as cooking pots, bottles, cups, a variety of wood and metalworking tools, and personal effects like clothing, shoes, full bottles of ink, and a pocket magnifying glass. The most interesting of all, to me, was the gramophone in a wooden case and 3 records. So on this long journey, tough journey, up and down the Yukon River, music was important enough to these guys that they were willing to care for this big, bulky, and unwieldy gramophone just to hear some music. The record containing the song Ma Onlyest One, written by the American vaudevillian Faye Templeton, was still on the turntable. And in 2010, the vessel was designated as a Yukon Historic Site. There's a fantastic film, a short film called Finding the AJ Goddard, A Tale of Modern Day Discovery. And if you Google it, it'll take you to it on Vimeo, and you can rent it for like $5 or something. And I think it's about 20 minutes long. It's really great. It's partly animated and done by actually the guy who discovered it, Doug Davidge's, I think it's his nephew who made the film. He's a director in BC. So it's really great. I highly recommend it. Check it out if you can. Now, back to our struggle on this darn lake.
Well, it took us a long time to get here.
It took so long to paddle here. An hour and a half for 100 kilometers.
And it was
So much fun. And here's dinner for tonight. Cindy doesn't know what it is yet, except for vegetables and potatoes, which I just dropped. I dropped all the potatoes on the ground, and now they are rocky potatoes. The problem with not having a big cooking area is rocky potatoes. So now we're just packing up all our crap. Stuff everywhere. See, it's getting a little wavy out there. We got rained on last night, but now it's not raining. Blue sky showing in some places. Well, the lake is so brutal. We're pulling our boats to the end. Oh, we've only got a little bit left around the corner, but it's nasty out there. We're not going far. Oh, that was fun from right there. Cindy's ready to have a heck of a time here. Holy Jesus. Wow, hey, the sun's out at least. It's windy as hell, but it's not pouring rain. And it's maybe going to be calmer once we get off this damn lake. This is a Lake Labarge portage.